I love it when you talk dirty to me. Dirty talk and fantasy, how these two things can help spicing up your love life just like that. Would you like to have a word or two? Why don't you come with me? Hello, my friends. Hi. My name is Amber, and I'm an enrolled sexuality educator. I love what I do because I help people cultivate intimacy with themselves and with their partners. And today we are talking about a topic that I am just dying to dig into, and that is dirty talk and fantasy. And when I say dirty talk, it's a misnomer because dirty talk is not dirty. We're just going to use that word because it feels forbidden and nasty. And that which is forbidden often becomes sexually charged and there's arousal there, right? A lot of times we love nudity and we love breasts and we love booties because we can't see them because they're covered up. So then when we get behind closed doors, we want to touch and we want to kiss and we want to feel all of those things, right? Fantasy. Fantasy is something that it doesn't mean that it's a reality. It's something that you would like to have happen, but fantasy can become reality depending on yourself and your partner and what consent you have with the people that you are playing with. So, dirty talk is a misnomer. We're just going to keep saying it though because I want it to feel dirty. And fantasy can become a reality if that's something that you want to play out. I'm not only a sexuality educator, for the last 25 years, I've also been a professional actor and director. So during the pandemic, I went back to school to become a sexuality educator because ultimately I would love to work on sets as an intimacy coordinator. I think that sex and sexuality and sensuality are such an integral part of the human experience. And if you're cut off from knowing yourself in that way, then you're cutting yourself off from all of these colors and all of these textures of who you are as a human being. And as an actor and as a performer, I want to be sure that I am in touch with those things and so that I know how to control them and so that I can state out loud what it is that I want to accomplish. In the theater, when you're playing a character, you often have to answer the question, what does my character want? What is the objective of this scene? And I want you to think about that in your own life as a sexual being. What do you want in the bedroom? What do you want to pursue? How do you want to get it? How do you want to be made to feel? So these are questions that a lot of people don't know how to ask and don't know how to answer because they're afraid to say the words and they don't know how to string them together. So today, I'm just going to give you a few tips and tricks and also talk about a couple different products that I think can help you along your way in that journey to help cultivate intimacy with yourself, but also with your partner or many partners if you've got a lot of people that you're playing with. This video is brought to you by adamandeve.com. If you watch this video and you like what you see, go to Adam and Eve, go shopping. We're going to talk about a couple different awesome things that you can find there today. And if you go to Adam and Eve, fill up your cart with goodies, put in the code TOY50 at checkout. That's TOY50. TOY50 will save you 50% off almost any single item on the site. Not only that, but you're going to get free discreet shipping on your entire order and a mystery gift. So go to adamandeve.com and make your wildest dream come true. Adam and Eve has been in business for over 50 years. They are the ground zero for all things fantasy and quote unquote dirty talk or sexy talk or fiery talk. So go to Adam and Eve and check it out for yourself. If you're 18 or older, then you're in the right place. Yay! If you're not, we'll see you when you're of age. Okay, so dirty talk. Emily Nagoski is one of my heroes in the sexuality field. She is a researcher and a sex scientist and sexologist and just all around awesome human being. If you don't know who she is, check her out, Emily Nagoski. She wrote a book called Come As You Are. Yes, Come As You Are. And one of the things that I love about what she studies is her focus on the difference between spontaneous desire and responsive desire, okay? So there's two types of desire out there. There are people who can just get all kinds of arousal, just all of a sudden you say sex and they're like, "Mer? What do I do? How can I have that?" And then there are people who need a little bit more coaxing to get to that point. And by coaxing, I mean in a consensual way, right? So consent and safety is the number one thing that I will always talk about whenever I'm talking about a sex educator. When you're trying to cultivate intimacy and you're trying to cultivate sexiness and hotness with yourself or with a partner, you want to make sure that you feel safe. You want to make sure that boundaries are understood, and you want to make sure that that the person that you're with is somebody that you can trust. So be sure that those things are in place, and so that you can have the best possible experience that you're looking for. So responsive desire is very different than spontaneous desire. Responsive desire is when you have to do something in order to get a response from that person for arousal to happen. So, a lot of people, the old trope is that men just want to have sex all the time, which is not true. Okay. This is coming from experience as someone in many different types of relationship. No, men aren't always the ones who want sex all the time. And men, I'm sorry that we've been giving you that label for so long. That might be true for many, but that is not true across the board. Male identifying beings, penis owners, they are absolutely, the majority of them require responsive desire too. So that can be through a visual aid, whether it's watching a sexy movie or looking at a magazine, and that inspires something in you to become a little bit more aroused. Women and female identifying human beings, we tend to all of it tends to start up here in the head, but it does for men too. Okay, just for the sake of ease, we're going to talk about men and women, but there's so many on that spectrum. This is not I do not believe in the binary, but I'm just trying to use easy language for us to understand when we're talking about responsive desire and spontaneous desire. So, if you're lucky enough to be somebody who has spontaneous desire, good for you, way to go. But responsive desire is something that you can cultivate as well. And it's something that we should all cultivate, because it's important to know what it is that excites you and gets you off, right? So, if you're somebody who, gosh, loves different types of fabrics, that might be something that, like, oh, you see velvet and it just turns you on in a certain way. Or if you hear a certain kind of music, it's a sensual experience. This is also true for when you see anything that's visual, like pornography or art. That might be something that inspires something sexy in you, but you respond to it and then it gets you going. There's lots of different ways to do that. Erotica, which is literature that has a sexual or sensual sort of connotation to it, is something that a lot of vulva owners and female identifying persons really love, because so much of the sexuality is in our brains before it gets into our body. It's that mind body connection. Reading about it and trying to get into the mood of something can be really, really inspiring. That's why the 50 Shades of Grey novels, are they super well written? I'm not going to say that they are. I've read all of them. I had to do some reviews for the sex toys, the line of sex toys that they came out with, which are lovely, by the way. And yeah, no, it's that they're scandalous. And the language that they use is evocative. It evokes something you, it pulls something out of you. And if your everyday work, or if you've got kids, or if you don't work in a field of sexuality and you're working with numbers or whatever it is that you do for a living just to get by, to feed your family and to clothe yourself, it may not be that sexy. So when you hear about how he touches the insides of her thighs and it makes her entire body quiver, oh, I would like that to happen to me, please. So that's why dirty talk and fantasy is so evocative. And it's something that really, really helps with responsive desire. So if you're in the spontaneous desire camp, that you're still going to benefit from the responsive desire, because you're going to get that kind of arousal out of whoever you are playing with, right? Okay. So a couple things. How do you get started? It's so hard to put words to what it is that you want to do, right? So start simple. I like to think of different shades of colors. So it can be pink, purple and red. So pink is like, ooh, this is like sweet and kind. And then purple is a bit more passionate. It's a bit more, "Argh." And then red is like fire and oh, I'm gonna do you hard. So I like to think of it with colors. You can think of them with textures. You can think of them as sounds. Um, Emily Nagoski talks about like green light, yellow light, red light, right? But that's really for like when you want something, when you've got caution about something, and when it's an absolute no. So it depends on what your verbiage is. But again, it's really important to talk to your partner about what words mean and what you're comfortable with. One of the things with dirty talk that I think is really, really important in talking to your partner about is what they're comfortable with. So, having a discussion with them about what it is that you like and what you want may not be what they like and what they want. You may love profanity, you might like the F word, and the person that you're with may not. So, you need to be respectful of those boundaries and figure out ways to play with each other that each person is going to be respected, honored, and also uplifted by. So, as an actor, I'm used to people playing out scripts and playing out scenarios. Anytime you're playing in fantasy or you're doing any kind of role playing, you want to make sure to have a discussion beforehand about the rules of the game. And then also what your, if there's a safe word, if there's anything that is off the table, and if you say something, then you're back to square zero, and you want to just make sure that the other person's okay. And then lastly, you want to make sure that there's aftercare involved. And this is when you check in with the other person and you've dropped the roles that you're playing and you say, hey, how are you? How was that experience for you? What did you like? Um, and that can be also like eating something really yummy or watching something after you've had a discussion, listening to good music. So, those three things are important: creating a safe space, making sure you understand boundaries, then also, again, with the safety, making sure you know that what safe words are there and what you're going to do, how you're going to play this scene out. And then lastly, aftercare. Aftercare is so important. And I think in any sexual scenario, give yourself time. Give yourself time to come down. After you've had a session with somebody, you've got all this serotonin flowing, you've got all this oxytocin. Make sure you're enjoying it. Don't just jump on your phone. Don't just turn on the TV. Tune in to the smells and the feels and the just everything. It's so much a part of who you are as a sensual being. So get in touch with that. Okay. So before any kind of play, before you're talking dirty or you're doing dirty things in a fantasy way, say what you want. When you say what you want to the other person, then you know that that's what's going to play out. Then, when you're actually in the action with the person, so let's say, okay, you're going to have sex. So, when I talk to a partner and I say, we're going to have sex later, what would you like to do? Okay, I would like to ride on top. All right. So you don't have to go into any details. You can just say what it is that you want. But then during the act itself, try to think of things to say about what you like about what you're doing. So it's laying out the ground rules about what you want to do and then commenting on it in a positive way about what you like about what's happening. So we're then having sex and I'm on top. I love that when I ride you, I feel like I'm being lifted by your beautiful cock. Okay. So that's just one example. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get all crazy in the dirty talk. I'm blushing. But that is exactly an example of how you get started in this whole world is asking the question, what do I want? What do I want to experience? And then saying out loud what you like about what you're experiencing. So that might seem like a really simple thing, but it takes practice. And it's something afterwards to check in about with your partner. Like, hey, what did you think about when I said X, Y, and Z? And be kind because a lot of times we're all just learning as we go and we're not sure what's going to come out. So allow yourself the safety of messing up or saying something that's going to make the other person laugh. Having a sense of humor is key. And this is true for anything that you're doing in life, but especially dirty talk and fantasy. One of the other things that I think is really important with a partner, if you're playing with dirty talk or fantasy, is actually saying out loud what you've enjoyed doing in the past. So if you're not even sure what you want or how you want to say what you want, saying to your partner, I like it when you take me from behind. Ooh, there's so much to unpack there, okay? So many people love to be taken from behind, but would never say it out loud, right? They're like, oh, get behind me or whatever, but you never actually say it out loud. So then, what is it that you like about it when that person's behind you? I love it when I can feel your breath. So that's the other thing. If you're not sure what to say about what you like, tune into your senses. It's all about using your senses. What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you hear? What do you feel? Those are the things that are going to tap you in to what it is that you want and what it is that you like. All right. So, again, saying what it is that you want to do. And then when you're actually experiencing it, commenting on that, which is going to also give your partner that kind of boost that's like, yeah, I'm going to give you some more of that. So everybody's winning all around when you're using this kind of language and it's reciprocal, right? Um, details are important. It's one thing to say that, like, I like it when you lick my clit, right? What do you like it? What do you like about it? Give me details. I like it when you lick my clit so much that you drool and spit collects. I mean, like, whatever it is that you're going to say, just keep going with it. Try to tap into your sex. Try to really live in what you're doing. Okay. So, if all of that sounds like it's too difficult and it's too scary, then the thing that I would like for you to do is also focus on texting. Dirty texting and sexting is so hot and it's a great place to start. And then you can talk about what you texted later on that day. Also writing notes, old school love notes. Oh, be still my heart. I love it when people write love letters, and that is such a beautiful way to bring arousal onto someone. I have love letters that I still keep. And I've been in a long term monogamous relationship, and I still have those love letters from early in our relationship, and they still get me going. So don't forget that. So go back to square one and use that. Okay, two things that I want to recommend. I won't go in, this is already going long. The game of fantasy affairs. Engage in adventurous affairs with your lover. This is such a fantastic board game. And also monogamy, a hot affair with your partner. This is so fantastic. These are two wonderful board games that if you are not quite sure what to say to loosen those lips and move those hips, these are going to get you going, okay? These are wonderful tools for relationships to help build intimacy. Monogamy is great because it's got all of these cards. It's a board game. You go around it 6 times. And what I love about it is it still has the same rules that we were talking about earlier about like pink, purple, and red. So you start out with these different cards and each ones are a different color. One's intimate, one's passionate, and one's steamy. And so you work your way up to really yummy stuff. So for intimate, like this card, that's just random, tantric kiss, not one for after a curry. Sit on his lap with your faces close together and breathe in as he breathes out. Suck his breath right down your body and get him to do the same. After a minute, share your breath with a kiss. A little weird, but very wonderful. So this is a wonderful way to start getting in tune with your partner. I love it because in order to figure out who goes first, you have to stare into the other person's eyes, and whoever blinks first loses, and the other person gets to go first. So it's already trying to get you to cultivate intimacy from word go, which is so fantastic. And then passionate, animal instinct, believe for a moment in the idea of reincarnation. Both write down on a piece of paper what kind of animals you think you and your partner would be reborn as. Try and make the animal reflect the human quirks. So that is passionate. And then the steamy one, it says, finger on the button with him on his back, legs apart. Sit astride him and reach behind to place one well-lubed finger between his cheeks. Okay, so obviously consent's important here, but you get the point. This is really, really fun. You also have fantasy cards. You have to grab one of these for each time you go around the board. Highly recommend this. And then with the fantasy affairs game, This is also a great way to cultivate any kind of intimacy. It's also a board game, and these are a little bit more scenario based. So, your first time, she reads, you and your lover are yourselves for the first time you made love. So, then you play that out with your partner, and you also have these different kiss cards and love cards here. Non-verbally express how much you love me. So you have different keys into trying to open the other person's door, and I just love that. So if you're looking for something that you want to play with your partner on the weekend that's got a little bit of an X-rated vibe to it, both of these are going to give you so much fun, and I highly recommend it. Fantasy Affairs and Monogamy, get them at adamandeve.com. Don't forget to use that code TOY50 at checkout. I dropped a card. The card says, dribble your favorite sauce on my body and lick it up. So if you're needing some inspiration for fantasies, look no further is all I'm saying, okay? You guys, my name is Amber. I love this topic. I'm like blushing. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave us some likes, click down below, leave us some comments if there's any topics that you want me to cover as a sex educator. I would love to be your Sherpa into the world of sensuality and intimacy. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and a very pleasurable night. Bye. Click up here to visit our channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Click down here to see more videos.